Hello Flosstube, my name is Julie Stubbs and this is my channel, Stitching with Julie. It has been a while since I've been here, I apologize. So after stopping working full-time, I came home thinking I was just going to focus on my quilting business, which I have. And November and December was just really busy for customer quilting. So I was pretty much busy every day. And I just never could find time to stop and make a video. Now I still did some stitching, but I just could never make a video. I could never stop, pause, anything long enough because I felt like I had to be going. And there was many days I got up to 3 quilts done a day. So anyway, I can film right now because my machine broke yesterday. So I'm waiting for a call back from Gamble. I'm sure it's just some little technical glitch, but I don't know what to do. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'm gonna film. So last time you saw me was Halloween Day. It was so fun and exciting. It was fun to be home to hand out candy to kids. I haven't been home for the last 5 years. I've had to work Halloween nights at the library. So it was really nice to be home, see the kids coming and going, and dole out the candy appropriately because my husband didn't really have a concept of that. He would just give handfuls and bowls and unopened bags to people because he just didn't want anything left over. Anyway, so it all worked out. It was fine. And it was nice weather enough that I was sitting outside for most of the night with my 2 neighbors in her driveway. And it was just fun visiting and seeing the kids come by. It was just fun. So I do have a lot to show you today. So again, apologize for my absence. I'm hoping to be back here more often. I do have a trip planned and I think we leave in like 10 days, maybe 9 days. My husband and I are going on a trip for 6 weeks, and I will be filming from our destination where we're going to be at, and that'll be fun to show some things of where we're going. So we're excited. Okay, so let me first get on and start with finishes, things that I have finished. Only one actually has been fully finished, but I was working on this. It was in a magazine, and I can't tell you even now which magazine it was. Might have been fall of 2020, September or October, but I lent the magazine. One of my friends who watches my videos saw it and I lent it to her because she just loved this so much. But I actually got it made into a pillow. It's so cute with the brown. I mean, this was great to have on our couch during Thanksgiving, the whole month of Thanksgiving. So this was nice to get done off my list. So, and I have finishes. I was fully finishing quite a few things before November and December hit, and then there has been no finishing time and stitching time, but no fully finishing time really, other than that pillow. So something else I was working on, I told you guys about. Let me show you. It is not finished. It would take me 10 minutes. I could probably do it today, honestly. But I was working on Bird in the Hand Thanksgiving. So I wanted to show you guys that I did get that finished. So there's that. And I had done the Halloween one and made it into a pillow, and it was really cute, adorable. And I mean, I could finish this really fast. I think for part of the time though, we were out of town and we had company for like 10 days. So I had just picked up my piles and moved them, and then I didn't know where this was. And so I actually just found it this last week. So I'm really glad I found it again. But yes, I can finish this in 10 minutes if I just went downstairs and took 10 minutes. So, okay, so those are some finishes. And then the other thing I was focusing on so hard was my Autumn Love. And I did finish it. I did not finish it in the month of October, like Lori and Kimberly did. My goal was to have it done by Thanksgiving. And what I meant by Thanksgiving was that whole weekend, because we were going away for Thanksgiving. We were gone for 4 days and went down to southern Utah, and we did a fun hike with our daughter and her kids and went out and saw Elephant Arch. We just thought it'd be like a mile or 2 hike. That day I walked 5.7 miles. So then my feet hurt for days. My ankles were not used to that kind of climbing and so forth. But anyway, I finished this the day after Thanksgiving. I just had a little bit left to go, and I got it done the day after Thanksgiving. So this was a big deal because I pushed so hard on this because I really wanted it done. And if there's people out there who don't have it done, just enjoy the stitch. It's not a race. I knew going into this that there would be no way I'd get this done in 1 month, you know, and stitching monogamously. And also I don't stitch on just one thing. I like to work on a lot of different things, but it was nice to get that done. Okay, and then something else I was working on, if you guys remember, I was doing it as kind of part of my, I was doing it like for like my daily 30. I was working on like every day for like 30 minutes. So if you guys remember, I was working on this. And instead of doing it in one piece, I was doing each ornament, each one as a different ornament to put on to this super cute. Let me hold from the bottom. It's a rocking reindeer. And actually I rarely left my house in December because I was just downstairs quilting the whole time. I didn't even get to walk into Walmart to see if they still had these this year at Christmas. They may have. I remember there had been a bear and there had been this one. But this is the one I think Cheryl from Fat Quarter Shop had used. And she had made each one of these and then just changed it and switched it out every day. So I was working on that. And I started that like for Mania in 2020. So I was glad to be working on it. So I used to have it on a really big piece and then I cut it in half because it was just too big for me to hold. So I already had all of these done. And so I had started here. I had to finish up the green when I started doing my floss tubes. I finished up this one and I came across and it was just a lot. So I cut the piece in half and started on the other half. And I got all of those finished, which is fantastic. You know, you get into some of these and there were so many color changes. I'd pull out 15 different flosses to do one little square. And this was the last one. I actually had gotten, all of this was done on Touch of Gray by Witchelt. And I had used one whole piece for all of it, but I was gonna not have enough for the one. So luckily I actually happened to get one in my Fabric of the Month club. And I said, perfect, that's exactly what I did it in. And I was able to finish the very last stitch. And this is like almost 600 stitches. That's crazy. It's crazy. But I got it done. So that was my goal. My goal was to get the stitching done, to get this project done. And now I will have that finished and ready to go for next year. And that little cute rockin' reindeer will be out on display and it'll be adorable in my house. And I was showing pictures to some of my kids. I have a daughter who just fell in love with it. And in my mind, it's probably going to go to her house. I have so many things and I keep thinking of whose house is it going to go to someday. So anyway, another piece I got done in time for December, but I did not have time to finish it, was the December Month to Month by Priscilla and Chelsea. So here's this and this, and I got them done. And November's had been done. I think I'd shown it in my last video. I had November done. I don't think it was finished though. And here's December done, but not fully finished. And I'll show you where I'm at in January's. This isn't this part of the video, I know, but here's where I'm at in January's. So I've just got to finish the loop of this Y here and do the small, and there's a whole bunch of snowflakes up here and two more, there's one and there's one here, there's two more snowmen. So I'm trying to work on this as much as I can, and it might get finished in the first day or two of January, and that's okay. That's totally fine with me. I've just been kind of focusing on it. So something else that came up that was a huge squirrel for me. So like after Autumn Low was done and I was focusing on those little Christmas ornaments, I thought, what can I was going someplace, I was doing something. Oh, I remember, I've had to help my daughter out running a grandchild. So where I live, south of Salt Lake City, she lives further south in a different county. And then her son, my grandson, was in the Nutcracker with Ballet West, which is just a phenomenal production company based out of downtown Salt Lake City. So I would drive from my house to her house, which was further for me to go than it is for me to downtown. But I'd go get him and drive clear up. And I did that 5 times in like the 2 weeks before Christmas. And 3 of the times I stayed. I stayed there while he was rehearsing. Or we watched the matinee and we took him out to dinner after. It was fun. We loved it. But I thought, what can I do? I just want something to work on. So this had come in the mail. And you guys, I just thought it was adorable. And here's what's funny. I pulled it out to start working on it. And then when my husband could see what I was working on, he says, is there any way you can put another set of glasses right up on top of her head? And I was like, what? Because I wear glasses to see. So like this is me normally. And so I stick them up on my head all the time. And when we go down to Southern Utah and I have my sunglasses on, I actually had a granddaughter. She doesn't call me this anymore, but she called me the grandma with 2 glasses. So my husband thought I should make a set of glasses on top of her hair here. I was like, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so Lady Claus, and I love that they did this to match the Santa baby from last year, which I hadn't done. And they had an oh dear sometime from last year that I hadn't done. And all of them are on this gorgeous aqua mint fabric. It's just so cute. Guys, I actually couldn't put this down. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Loved it so much. I'm going to work on the other 2, and I'll tell you about that in my plans in just a little bit. So I finished this and I'm super excited. So I will not fully finish it till I get the other 2 done. I've seen some fun ideas on Instagram and Facebook where people have put like Mrs. Claus on a door and one in a wreath and, you know, one on another finish. And it just is adorable. So I thought I want to do something like that. So let me tell you about, I wonder where, so I have too many plans for 2023. So first off, this year I did do Whip Go. I realized I overcommitted to a lot of things because when I started the year, you know, for the first 9 months of the year, I was working full time and then still doing my quilting business. And so even though I stitched all the time and I stitched at work on my breaks and my lunch hour, it was just, you know, too much. I had to pause. Anyway, so I've done it again this year. I actually have 6 boards, guys. I'm so excited. One of them is a quilting board, just to keep me going on projects that I want to finish up for quilting. But so I have made some goals with Whip Go, and with Whip Go, I have one board that's a full coverage board because I have quite a few full coverage projects, and one of them is my super biggest focus for the year. And that is, of course, it's at the bottom of my pile. I started this probably 24 years ago, maybe. This is my huge focus for the year because I really want to get this done. I started this in 2000, probably, easily 2000. Let's see. I don't even know when this was printed. It was printed in 1995. I didn't start it that much, you know, it was probably a couple years old when I started it. So anyway, I started this, I got 1 page done. I did 1 page and stopped. And this is what's funny about the old me, the me who I don't know who she was 24 years ago or whenever I started this. She did not backstitch as she went. And so therefore, when I pulled it out, I had to do the backstitching now. So now all the backstitching is done everywhere except for in this section here, because as I go on and finish this next person, I'll do all the backstitching for this at the same time. I don't know if you can see this very well or not, but guys, I don't know. I'm happy that I have done this. Now, here's the fool that I was years ago. I guess I thought I could cross country. Oh my gosh, you guys. What was I thinking? And do you see the masking tape on there? That tells you how old school, okay? Because that's what it was, you know, years ago. So I guess I thought I could cross country. Didn't know what I was doing back then. But it's going to be interesting to see if as I approach those areas, because I will just treat this like a full coverage. And I actually have a big goal every month, guys. I'm trying to do 2,000 stitches on this every month. And I kind of have times blocked out in my months where I will work on it. And it's almost, you know, I'm just excited to do it, but I want to get it done because it's my oldest whip and I want to get it done. So Last Supper, it's from a Leisure's Art pamphlet, little leaflet thing. And I want to get it done so my oldest whip is done. I had one other whip that I did at this same period of time, and that was a mid-Amish life, and I finished the left piece of the 3 pieces. And then in taking it to stores and looking around, shopping, trying to find a match, I have lost the whole piece, the whole left piece that I did. And now I've been seeing people who are doing it as one piece, and that's what I want to do. So at some point I'm going to start that, and maybe it'll be for my birthday, I'm not sure, which isn't until July, but I think I definitely want that piece because I just love that piece. It just makes me think of industry and working hard, and I always like to be doing things. Love to make homemade jams, homemade anything. I have I have fruit leather going on a dehydrator this minute, you know, that I'll be changing every 12 hours, you know, and because I want to take a whole bunch with me on my trip. So I like to be doing things like that. So anyway, that's my big goal for the year, is to work on the Last Supper and see if I can get that done this year. So I actually don't even know how many squares there are, and if I did 2,000 a month, if it's even going to finish it. But I figure if I get 2,000 a month, that's great. I'll be happy. So there's a couple other things I've been doing. I have other goals too, but I want to show you some of the sales I'm doing. So I went to Stitch West, and there's a group of ladies there who are doing this Sunnyside sampler. And so I ordered the kit, and of course I was behind getting started because they had started at retreat, so they knew about it in advance. And so they're probably over here right now. So I sat down to start it, and I just thought, I'm going to bring the alphabet letters over as far as until I know where I should be, you know. And I figure I'll probably always do that just so I can know this is where I should be caught up to, and I'm not. So I just got those alphabet letters started. And all of this is on all the called for fabric, floss, everything, because I got the whole thing in a kit from the Drawn Thread. So it's everything that's called for in there. So that was just a little start, but I'm going to try to work on this a little bit more as I can. Another stitch along I'm doing, which I'm a little behind because there was this part that said to dye your fabric, and then I kind of went blank going, I've never done that before. Okay. I've watched videos, I've seen Priscilla and Chelsea and other people, and I thought, I just don't know if I can do it. So, but I did attempt and I did try. And I don't have a full picture of this. I can give you a partial picture right here, but this is the Stitching Book Club, which is done by Sapphire Mountain Designs, and this is the Jane Eyre. So you're missing Jane Eyre, you're missing some of the things, but that kind of gives you a little bit. And this is my small start. And this is my dyed fabric, which I have never dyed fabric before. They wanted you to use taupe, Rit dye, and I could not find taupe, and I went to multiple places. So I used sandstone, and honestly, I'm really okay with it. There's some parts that are lighter than others, but I'm really hoping the parts I don't like won't even be in the frame, you know, by the time it's done. So I started in the center. I'm behind. They've done the center. They've come over and done this house, and I think they might be over on this house now. But at least I have it started, and I will continue to work on it. So, and it's all the called for flosses, the DMC flosses, and then that's just my fabric. And guys, I'm really proud of myself. I have been stitching on 14 count and maybe 28 occasionally for a long time, but I usually have been sticking with the Aida. I have no problem stitching on Aida. It turns out beautiful. But while I was at Stitch West, I started multiple projects that were on 32 count. And then all of a sudden now I'm starting a whole bunch of other things on 32 count. And I'm like, what is going on with me? All of a sudden I'm doing 32 count stuff, and that's okay. That's okay too. So another one that I started, so on Christmas Day, I started 4 things, and the day after 1 thing. I just couldn't help myself. So this is my Sunday stitch. I hope you can see it okay. It's called How Great Thou Art by My Big Toe. And I'm using all the called for colors. There's only 4 of them, but they're Weeks Dye Works. All of them are Weeks Dye Works, and they're beautiful. And I just got that top band completely done. Oh, whoops. Got that top band completely done. It's probably pretty see-through. I didn't bring a board up with me. So this is gonna be nice. Christmas just happened to fall on a Sunday, so that's why it was a start on that day, because really it was meant to be my Sunday stitch. So, and that's why it got started that day. So, okay, and then another sal I'm doing is, I think where my pattern is. Oh, okay, here it is. I have it in my bag that I got made from Rika. She's House of Stitch and Stash. And I'm using this bag because it's a Lori Holt cheater cloth fabric, because this is the stitch along I am doing with Lori. So she was getting tons done. When we started this in November, I was in the midst of quilting her prairie quilt. So I was like really involved in getting her quilt ready for her finish, you know, on her blog and so forth. So, and she had Kimberly in town, and she got a lot done. And I know several people who are doing this, and it's amazing how many people have and how much people have done. Me, this is all I have done. But that's okay, because I'm gonna be working on this. I'm taking this on my trip, and I am gonna get a lot done. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. So sals are fun. You know, some people call them start alongs instead of stitch alongs. I want to stitch along, but you know, I'm trying to be realistic about what I have and what I need to get done and things like that. Another stitch along, well, it is, maybe it's considered a stitch along. I started Big City Christmas. This is the first one, and I just started across the bottom right there. I started that also on Christmas Day, and I'm using my needle minder from Lady Claus because it's so stinking cute. I thought I'll just stick her right on this project. So I have this is the first time I've ever used one of these easy frames, because I went to this little stitch night at Pine Needles, which is in West Jordan. It's only about 5 minutes from my house, in December, and it was a lot of fun, and there was others who were working on this. But there was one gal who had on the part, there's a little parts that have like little swag hanging, and there's a wreath on the door, and she put red beads on. And I thought, I think I want to do that. Now, if I were to have it in a regular hoop or something, I would not be able to do that. And so having it on this frame, and I'm stitching sideways, I will be able to put beads on here. So I've got the beads and everything. This is the first one I'm starting, and then the second one I just got, and so the other day, so I'm excited. I will take both of these on my trip, and I'm hoping they'll be done when I get back. So, because when I get back, I'll be picking up one pattern and possibly a second really shortly thereafter. So I'll have 2 more to go. So this is what I'm doing. I'm using all called for threads, all called for fabric, everything. So, and I'm kind of doing it with that shop Pine Needles as a stitch along with them. So that's kind of fun. Okay, and then I wanted to show you some of my other starts. So even with my big goals with Last Supper, this is a bag made for me from Barbara John's Stitching with Grammy. So she's so sweet, she sent that to me. I had ordered some of her little floss keepers and she sent that as a little thank you. So I signed up for Cross Stitch Studios 2023 Mystery Sale. Okay, I've done other full coverage ones. I've never completed a full coverage, but this next year is the year. But this, I started the Mystery Sale, and you can't really see. Let me see if I can put this behind and make it better for you guys to see. That is only one color, and that is the full page and the first column of the first page. So I'm using an air erasable marker. That's what I learned that Brenda at Handwork Maniac uses. And she says a lot of time, like that used to be really, really dark and it's already fading so much. So she says most of the time when she comes back to do more, she has to reapply it because it just goes away. But I am excited to do this. It's gonna be a doozy. So, but again, just that beginning start. And I have learned how to park thanks to one of Brenda's videos where it finally made sense. I've watched lots of different videos about parking and Royal Rows and Diagonal and all these different ones. Finally, her video, something in the way she said it, it clicked for me and I understood it. So I have other projects that I am going to be parking. I will be parking in on my Last Supper. I will park anywhere I can, I will park. I can't park below on this one because all I get is one page at a time. They released this one early for people who needed to get started before the new year. And I just wanted to start it to see where I was at. That's over 200 stitches. I just was doing it to do it. But pretty much I need to do 200 stitches a day on this to stay caught up with this group. So this is going to be the first thing I probably touch in the mornings. We'll see. But I did start that. I'm actually really excited about it because, I mean, it's a mystery. You're not going to know what it's going to look like. In fact, some people have stitched way ahead. Well, not ahead because they only get the one page, but some people have done some stitching and there's letters in there. And I don't understand what the letters go to because I can't think of a word where those letters would be together. So another thing I started, and I could not help myself, she released this for free in her Facebook group, but Carolyn Manning released this as a kind of a memory of this huge blast of snow that our country has had over the last 10 days, which was really amazing. You know, I live in Utah where we have snow all the time, and there's times you just have to stay home, or, you know, sometimes they've canceled school, but we've had some snow here before. We're used to snow. But all that driving I was doing, taking my grandson, I had perfect weather and perfect roads for 2 weeks. And I had an uncle who was stranded on a freeway a little north of us trying to leave Oregon, and he was in completely stopped traffic, absolutely was stuck. And then, you know, other people in other places. So it's almost like it went just up and over Utah. And for some reason, we did not get the big storm that everybody had gotten, you know, and are still digging out of, like in New York. So anyway, she did this one, which is interesting because I have another piece I'm starting while I'm on my trip. That's a Carolyn Manning. It's her Dandelions. And I'm going to be starting that while I'm gone. And so now I'm going to have two going, and boy, she has so many cute patterns. There's a Halloween one that is amazing, a birdhouse one that's amazing. There's one called Grandma's Jewelry. It is stunning. I mean, guys, I could do her stuff all day long. So here's what's fun, because I have done some 32 count. I thought, well, if I'm doing 32, I can do 16, and that'll kind of help things not be so big. But I did get a start on this Arctic Blast. Again, it's probably only like 170 stitches. I actually started it with a floss I had. I just went through my floss downstairs. Do I have any of these colors? And then I now have gone and I have purchased all the rest of the floss. So, but I just had to I had to start it, even if with a few little that I had. So I did get that started, and this is gonna go on my trip with me. I can't decide if, like, I'm gonna have a 4 or 5 hour plane ride, and I'd love to get tons done. And I wanna pack minimally with me, so I don't know what I wanna work on the plane. I don't think I wanna take those big Q snaps on the plane. I think I'd rather have something a little smaller, like my Redbird sampler, or even my Last Supper is in a smaller frame. Okay, some of my other goals this year, guys, really fast. I have some other full coverage pieces I started. So I am part of Full Coverage Fanatics, and I haven't done well for the last several years in that group because I haven't finished a single full coverage, but I've started quite a few. I mean, I probably have 11, and some of them are Hades. So I actually am taking a break from the Hades a little bit right now, and when I get back from my trip, I'll redecide. But I have some smaller full coverage pieces that I also want to work on, and I just thought I'd focus like just so many stitches a month. So this was a little Dimensions Gold kit called Toy Shop. And it's not that big. It's on like a 16 count. It came as a kit and everything. This is what I have done on it so far. And I want to try to put 500 stitches into this. I mean, it's funny because I've had days where I get 1,000 stitches a day or more. And some days, now I know full coverage is going to be a little different because, I don't know, it might be a little different. Meaning I may not get as many stitches done in an hour as I would on one of my pieces I stitch in hand. Like the month to months, I can just fly on that in doing stitching in hand. But this is a goal for me to finish this year. There's a thing in there, they have an event called Big or Little, and I chose 2 littles. Actually, I chose 3, but I'm going to show pictures of the 2 I posted. But there is a 3rd that I'll bring in, but I want to see if I can finish these first. So there's this one here, which is called Toy Shop, and I think if I were just to focus on it, you know, like I have some days set aside to work on it, and I'm hoping that I can get that done, you know, this year. I shouldn't have a problem. Okay, so this is another kit that I bought, and this is called, what is it called? It's just called Ballerina. Now, all of this background, if I remember, let me look, because I haven't touched it this year. Yeah, all of that light background is just tent stitch. So that's not a big deal. And even inside here, it's tent. The actual framing is. Anyway, I saw this and just fell in love with it and thought I have 2 dancing girls. You know, 2 of my 4 children, I have 2 girls and 2 boys, danced for like 11, 12 years. We were going to dance sometimes 6 days a week. So I just happened to see this, but I'll show you where I'm at. You can see here how far I've gone. So you can kind of see where her foot's going to be pointing right there, and kind of the shape of her coming across. And so if you can see that there together, I'm coming along. I think I just need to do some like good focusing on it, and it'll be nice to see some progress on this. So I almost just lost a needle. So that's one of my other smalls for that Big or Little event. I want to finish the little Christmas Toy Shop. I want to finish this Ballerina. And then I have another one of Bouchard Gardens, which is up in Canada. We went there and I went to a stitch shop that we just happened to literally find while we were up there. And they had a small in the window of the gardens we had just visited the day before. So I'm like, well, I'm definitely getting this so I can have a memory for my trip. So yes, I have plans. So I am, without like showing anything, because I have scribble notes everywhere, I have plans to do a new start on the 1st of every month. And on the 4th of July, or the 4th of the month, I try to work on something patriotic. On the 13th, I kind of call that like for Friday the 13th or Halloween, I try to work on a Halloween piece. And then the 25th, a Christmas piece. So I have a lot of these WIPs scheduled for times to work on next month. And what I did was I took all the WIP Go pieces that got called for the 5 boards that I have that are cross stitch, and that's what I plugged in for anything I have. And if there's nothing for patriotic, I have another project I can work for patriotic. But I'm trying to go, my goal is to do like a 2-day rotation on all of the WIPs except for the full coverage ones, that my goals are to get like 2,000 a month. Toy Shop, I'm wanting to get 500 a month. And ballerina, I'm trying to get 1,000. And 1,000 really is 500 since it's 10 stitches, when you count it, if you will. Those are my goals for those. And then plus the cross stitch studio stitch along. So, but I'll do that every day. So I should have enough time to work on everything. And we're going to see how things go when I'm on my vacation. And well, you know, I'm going to the beach, you know, as often as I can. And when I get back, but earlier this year we went on the trip to the same place, and sometimes I stitched 8 hours a day. Sometimes I'd stitch for hours in the morning, or if I didn't in the morning because we went to the beach, I'd stitch when we got back from the beach, and then again at night after dinner. So, and also the first, when we went this year, the first like 5 days it rained. So, you know, I was getting a lot of stuff done. But this time we're going to be gone for 6 weeks. So I told my husband I'm going to take a little featherweight sewing machine, and I have a couple projects. And I said, when it rains, I will sew with my machine. And he's still kind of bummed that I'm taking a machine. He just wants my undivided attention with the 50 cross stitch WIPs I'm bringing. I don't know how much full-time attention he's going to get from me, but anyway, we'll be together the whole time. He just likes to look at things on his phone and listen for things, and I'm the same. I like to be busy all the time. So so I do have a start on January 1st, and that is Winter Garden. And I actually have all the called for, let me see. I did all the DMCs for this, which I'm okay with. I'm totally okay with. And I found this fabric, and I don't know the name of it. Oh, it's beautiful. I took a picture of what it was. It's on my phone, and I'm filming on my phone, so I can't tell you right now. But as I work on it and I show it to you in the future, I'll make sure I get the name of it, and I will tell you what this fabric is. I actually picked it for this project and one other. I don't know which one, but I picked it for 2 projects. So I'm starting Winter Garden on January 1st. I was really excited to hear about, through watching different YouTube videos, about the Cross Stitch Magazine Challenge group, where in January they're doing Bringo, but they have other like acrostics and things like that they do throughout the year. But just when I was watching a video about it, I was actually really happy to hear that they were trying to focus on things in magazines, because other than that scarecrow hat, I keep seeing things in magazines and I want to do them, but then I don't. And so anyway, I went through some of my digital and some of my physical magazines, and I have picked a bunch of projects that I will be working on next year. Some of them I'll be doing and starting in Bringo, which is fine. Excuse me. And then some I'm going to be starting for birthdays. So that's something that Lori does that I love. She starts things for family members' birthdays. So I'm starting a new start for every member of my family, meaning my husband and I, our children, their spouses, and our grandchildren. So I have, while I'm on vacation, there'll be 3 birthdays and my anniversary. That's part of the reason we kind of get away. It's going to be our 34th anniversary this year, in January. And so I have my January 1st start. I have my my February 1st start, my anniversary, and then 3 birthdays. And then I have another sal I'm doing with my friend. I haven't started it yet. It was a birthday start for her. Her birthday was a couple months ago, but I'm taking it to work on. And that was one that Teresa Kogut offered that was called United We Stand. So I'm excited to start on that one. So I have a bunch of starts scheduled. Because I have 5 Whip-Go boards for cross stitching, and I was, I kind of have some set plans for the year. I really wanted to do a board that was about ornaments, and I already had 5. And the 5 is pretty much touching everything I have. There's one full coverage, one that is a board that I will do 2,300 stitches on each project or a finish, whichever comes first. And so everything on that board is literally something that can be finished, I believe, within 2,300 stitches or close. Then I have a board that's all Priscilla and Chelsea things, like the month-to-months or her calendar crates the ones I haven't finished, or the Truck No Lung series I haven't finished, or I have 3 chockfuls to finish. So I have a whole 3rd board that's all Priscilla Chelsea stuff that I want done, that I want to work on. And then my 4th board is, let's see, it's just other things that I had started. Most of it is stuff I started for Mania in 2020 and Jolly July in 2020. And I really haven't done those events since because I have so many things from there. But I will continue. So all those are made up on the other boards. So, and if you do Whip-Go, it's in my album. You can't miss them. And then my 6th board is a quilting board. So I'm gonna have those Whip-Go pieces that are called every month between the 5 boards be what I focus on every single month. And so I was kind of sad that I'm not going to get any ornaments done. And when I talk about ornaments, I'm talking about like Priscilla and Chelsea's. I up until like 3-4 weeks ago, their last sale, I have every pattern they've ever sold. And I want to work on those things. And so, and they're little, so they can get done pretty quickly. You just got to have a reason to start them, I guess. And so since I already have plans for other birthdays and I have plans for everything else, I decided that what I'm going to do to still get ornaments in this year is I think I have 10 openings in Mania where I will do 10 new starts, and they'll all be a Dapper Doodad or a Tier Tray or one of their other pieces. And then same in Jolly July, I think I have 12 spaces open in Jolly, for July. So when I have those openings, that's where I'm going to plug in some of my ornaments. And also I do March Madness, but I do my own version of March Madness. So I'm never going to have people vote for me on what I work on. When I did it the first time, I picked 8 projects that all had just a start on them. And I worked on 1 through 8 for 8 days. And then I pulled out on day 9, I pulled out number 1 and 2, which one would be closer to a finish. Because that's the whole point of March Madness, from the way the majority of people do it, is they have people vote, and then, the hope is then you finish something that month, at least one thing. Well, so I looked at the one that was the closest to a finish and I worked on that. And so for then the next 4 days, I was picking the one that was the most, but then I kept going. I ended up finishing all 8 in that month. No sweat, no sweat. So this year for March, I'm actually going to start 16. I'm going to do 16 starts and just repeat it. And there might be one day I work on 2, because there's only 30 or 31 days in the month. So I'm just going to do 16, and that's another way for me to get some. And then I'm super excited. Then the last way I'm going to get some in, which I'm really excited about. So I have, let me get this out. If you remember this bag had the Oh Dear in it. So I told you after doing Lady Claus, I wanted to work on these. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve, because today is I have to look at my watch. Today's December 30th. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and I'm going to do the 12 by 12. And some people are doing new starts. Some people are working on other things. I want to start this. This is the same fabric that Lady Claus was on. So I have this, that all came in that quarterly kit that I'm going to do. And then I have in my Santa baby bag, I have my whole Santa one, which has the fabric, the floss, and everything. So those are gonna be 2 of my 12 starts because I want to work on those. And I think what will happen is, you know, I'll work on them here and there. Sometimes it's just nice to grab something so small. Like I had to go down to my daughter's one day and watch a grandson who had gotten hit by another kid at school, and so he had a bump that was bleeding and so forth on his head. So, and she needed to work, and so did her husband. So I went down, and that's when I thought, I'm going to be there all day with him. What can I take? And that's when I took Lady Claus and started it, and then I could not stop working on it. So the other thing I'm going to do, and I don't have pictures of them because they're all on my iPad because it's all digital, but this is all the floss to start 10 of Priscilla and Chelsea's Tier Trade Tidbits or Dapper Doodads. So I think if I remember correctly, I can tell you even which ones I'm doing. I am doing 2 Valentine ones. So I'm going to be on my trip for Valentine's, and that's okay. I was last year too. So I won't finish anything. If I get these finished, I will not be fully finishing them because my stuff's going to be at home. And maybe next year I'll actually be home for the holiday because I've been gone the last couple of Valentines. But anyway, I am doing 2 of their Valentines. I'm doing the Valentine Lane and the Be My Valentine. They're both Tier Trade Tidbits. And then I'm going to do 3. There's, actually, wait, there's 2 other Valentine ones. Key to My Heart and Follow Your Heart I'm going to start. And then I'm going to do an Easter one that's like a bunny parade. I'm going to do 3 ones that have to do with St. Patrick's Day. So Top of the Morning, Shamrock Farm, and Luck of the Irish. And then I thought I'd start some into the spring. So I'm going to do 2 kind of strawberry themed ones, So Berry Sweet and Strawberry Picking. So I'm excited to start all of those. I have all my fabric cut. All of those are done on black. So I have all the fabric already cut and ready. And I am going to, I'm just going to have so much fun working on these. This is going to be a blast to focus on these tomorrow. So that'll be my different starts throughout the day, is to do 10 of their little things, and then the Santa baby and the Oh Dear. So that's my 12 by 12 plans. All starts. I'm not even afraid. I'm really excited actually to have those, because sometimes little things are great to have in the car if you're going someplace, and I can take any of those any place with me because I have all the patterns on my phone and my iPad. So thank you for bearing with me. I did not mean for this video to go so long. I'm really excited for this new year, and I'm hoping to do one quick video before I leave on my trip to show you my success from the 12 by 12. I also, because I'm making fruit leather and doing stuff that I'm making and taking on our trip, and other things going on that we're doing, my husband and I, to get ready to go out of town, things we need to do in the garage and other stuff just to have the house ready for us to be gone. Though we have someone staying here, we have someone staying in our house the whole time. So it's not, the house won't be empty because we have people staying here. But I cannot do from 12 o'clock noon until midnight. I will be doing a lot in the evening because that's easy. So what I probably will do, because I wake up before my husband, I will probably get up and get a couple of the hours done before he gets out of bed. And then we'll be doing some stuff. I'll have to get my fruit leather swapped out because it's like every 12 hours. And then I will do some more, but I will get all the hours in. When it gets to the point that if I have 6 left and there's only 6 hours left in the day, then at that point I will just stop and sit down. So I will watch the time and I will get those 12 done, get them all started tomorrow. I'm excited about that. And then I'm excited to start my winter garden on January 1st and to see what Bringo board you know, what Bringo brings. I've never done it before, but I have all those little magazine starts that I want to do, and I have them already kitted. Everything is ready to go. So I just figured I'd show you those as on my videos, the things that I started, the things that I'll be working on, and hopefully show you progress on the things that I have shown you today, some of these full coverage pieces. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful, safe New Year. Hope you're surrounded by friends, family, anyone you can, any loved ones, and have an enjoyable, safe New Year's Eve. There's a lot of times I'm asleep before the New Year starts, but I'm going to try to stay awake because of this 12 by 12. But otherwise, I just go to bed normally. So anyway, but I'm glad it's on a weekend. I'm just glad. I'm glad. So stay warm, stay safe, and thanks for joining. Have a good day.